Hello, welcome to Easy English. Today, I want to know what Brits think about Brits. Let's go. What do Brits think about Brits?
I'm actually not too sure.
No?
I'm really not too sure.
What do you think about other British people?
Well, I'm kind of proud of them
Yeah?
and I feel part of them,
Okay.
but I'm aware that there's obviously many Brits that, I don't know, are probably, you've got bad ones, you've got good ones.
And what is it about, what are you kind of proud of? Is it about their nature, about how we sort of generally behave, or our history, or what
Yeah,
is
I think so. I think generally we're quite a funny nation.
Yeah, okay.
Good sense of humour. We've lived abroad in different countries.
Whereabouts have you lived, if I can
Lived
ask?
in Germany, Holland, America,
Oh, wow, okay.
and we always missed it, that's for sure.
The humour.
And we miss home, and we miss the people as well.
I think the humour is unique, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Right. Well, I think we're such an insular country, with the Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and England.
Yeah.
And I just think we all think we're rather marvellous because of the Industrial Revolution. For a start, we started all that off, and we were well ahead at that point. I do think we have an inflated view of being English. Some people are just thinking it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Not looking at all the other cultures, all the other countries. I do think we've got it out of sync, really, for sure.
You know the British people, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you think about them?
I think they're like posh.
Posh.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And
All of them?
most of them.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
Are you posh?
Not really.
Okay.
I go to school in New Haven.
That's not posh.
Not really.
No.
Okay. This video was sponsored by italki, the site that allows you to find online language teachers for one-on-one tutoring. As a new user, you'll get $10 in italki credits after your first lesson if you register using the link go.italki.com/easy English. If you don't like reading complicated language books or listening to pre-recorded audio courses, then italki is for you. You'll get to practice your conversational skills under different real-world scenarios, as speaking with humans is the best and fastest way to learn a language. You can customize your lessons to cater for your language needs and interests, and the one-on-one lessons provide you with undivided attention with teachers at your preferred time, whether you're at home, at the airport, or at the local park. You have complete access. So head on over to italki and use the link go.italki.com/easy English to start your first lesson and get $10 in italki credits. What do you think about Brits?
It's a very good question. I think it's a moving feast, right? I think it depends on which part of the country you go to. It depends on the people you meet and the stories they have to tell you. I think there's a country of stories. I think that we're all great storytellers in Britain, and part of being British to me is about that. It's about embracing these stories. It's about having humour with the stories and how you tell them, and it's about embracing how we're all entirely different and how we're all individual in our pursuits and our beliefs, our cultural heritage, our views on society, all these things. So to be British has changed an awful lot over the last 100 years or so. Of course it has, and it's been a great shift, I think, in acceptance, and hopefully things will stay the same. And of course, with the recent climate, with COVID, we've kind of pulled together, and we are a community, bigger and smaller, and I think that to me it's about those things.
My opinion on Brits, I'd say, are not particularly that great.
Okay.
I know. I think that Brits have got a bit of a bad name for themselves, especially abroad, because they're quite lager, louty.
Yeah.
We're very self-conscious of ourselves, aren't we? Like you get most of Europe aren't as apologetic when they bump into each other. So I think we're really sensitive, and we're lagerlouts, and we're, I think we're a strange bunch, really.
And is this, I'm struggling, is this your opinion, or is this what you think people think, like, Is this a generic view of Brits?
This is probably. Because what's the question? The question is what I actually think. No,
well,
but I
it doesn't
think
have to be. It can be like, what do Brits as a group think of Brits as a group? Or what is your sort of very specific opinion from all the British people you know?
We're individual. We're different from the rest of Europe.
Yeah.
Got our own little quirks.
Okay.
Like our home comforts.
Yeah.
And we're good fun.
Okay. I'm interested in the quirks. What quirks kind of identify Brits to you?
Tea, a Marmite.
Marmite, okay.
Beer, full English breakfast.
Yeah.
Sunday roast.
Okay. Is there more? I'm thinking more like behavioural things that kind of that we can all say we have as Brits. It might be cliched, but
like superiority complex.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
Why did you say that?
I don't personally have it myself, but it's my observations.
Okay, but superior about what?
Well, like if you go abroad, you want stuff that you have at home when you're abroad. Yeah, I'm a bit different because I was born here, but yeah. My parents are from Sri Lanka, so I've always had another culture involved. Okay. So I've noticed it. Even in Sri Lanka, you can see the colonial influence, how it's made its mark, like the tea, the cake, the beer, G&T.
Yeah, we just demand our own.
or it's good, so it's rubbed off on other people. I guess two ways of looking at it.
What do you think about British people?
We have a lot of banter and we don't take things seriously.
Okay, and can you define what is banter?
It's just where you joke about and you just take the piss out of each other.
Won't make fun of people because their hair or something.
Just like him, 'cause he's
I'm
ginger.
not ginger.
So this is banter, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and this is what all British people can do, or what?
Some, because we have a few
Most
mates who will just sit there and we'll take the joke out of them and then they'll just sit there crying for the next week.
So would you say that British people are sensitive?
Some.
Not really. Some of them.
Some of them.
Okay.
Most of us just banter all the time.
Yeah.
So what
tease each other.
Would you say you two are kind of guys that aren't sensitive but have this banterous kind of humour?
Yeah. We all banter.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any banter for us right now for each other? Why don't you?
He's ginger.
I'm not ginger.
Right, now give it back.
His teeth are offside.
That's what I was going to say.
Fantastic. Right.
We're not social distancing, but his teeth are.
Oh my God. British people just generally just joke about more normally. It's just
you
like
see it so often, or it's on TV or something like that?
Well, it's like everyone has this like thing like British like people are all posh and all that, but like they're not really. It's like everyone just jokes about. Some people can take it, some don't. So it just depends on the person, really.
And the posh thing, do you think this is like someone else's opinion that's not true? Or?
Well, most like people from other countries think like English people like all posh in that, and they just drink tea for like on a daily basis. So
okay.
Yeah,
and is this not true? You don't drink tea?
I drink tea a lot.
Oh, right, so it's completely true then. Could you sort of specify a sort of typical British humour?
Self-deprecating.
Yes.
I think that's pretty obvious. Certainly the other nations that we lived in, they didn't quite get that kind of humour.
Okay.
That kind of sarcasm.
Banter.
The banter. They took everything literally, where we don't.
Could you, because banter's a kind of a word which...
It has different connotations, doesn't it?
How would you describe banter?
Well, you were in a football environment, weren't you?
Yeah.
So it was all through football, wasn't it?
It can be quite harsh. It can be seen as quite harsh, can't it?
Yeah.
Even between friends, they could walk in a pub and the first thing you do is tell them how bad their jumper or shirt is, don't you? And other nations tend not to do that.
Yeah.
But it's a term of endearment when you say that to your friends, perhaps.
What would you say about Brits nowadays, modern Brits?
When I think of my mum and dad and my aunts and uncles, all who are dead, they were brilliant. They knew what they were. They They went to work, they came home, they looked after their family. I do think modern Brits do moan an awful lot. I don't think they have the same feelings as about family especially and social stuff that they did back after the wars, because they came out of that and they rebuilt the whole country socially especially, I think. And I think, that's a lot to do with it. But I do think we are very socially minded and stuff like that. You look down your nose. That programme about I look down my nose at him because he's only this, and then someone else looks down at him. We're very much like that. I do think we do that judging sort of thing.
And I've got a bad neck.
Yes.
That's the
that's right. Yeah, and I've got a bad neck as well. So what do you expect? That's right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So we're kind of the modern day Brits are almost like the spoilt child or something.
Well, they are. Yes, they haven't had to work hard for anything, I don't think. I mean, obviously going to university, and that's so much easier than it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we have it handed to us almost. We are almost like a nanny state, I think.
So how would you describe this humour?
Ruthless at times, ruthless and direct sometimes. Occasionally slightly dark as well, I think, sometimes, the British humour. It can be quite dark. Also, it can be sometimes overly respectful as well. We don't want to hurt others' feelings being British. And we have that respect, I hope, for each other most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, I'd say.
Funny, because it's quite a contrasting thing you just said, really.
Yeah, it's a contrast,
Brutal, but we're...
Brutal.
Don't want to offend anyone.
I think with your friends, right, and your mates, you can have that brutality.
Yeah.
And you can be just on the edge, right, and be cutting. But I think with those you don't know, that kind of sense of, humour being used to offset some things that aren't so great, to offset that kind of atmospheric challenge you have from some people sometimes.
Yeah.
And you hear it all the time, right? You hear it wherever you go, this British humour.
Yeah,
and small talk. We're very good at small talk in Britain. And all that time we use for small talk, I mean, goodness me, that's got to be years of our lives, all of us, engaged in small talk about the weather and all kinds of other unimportant things which we are so obsessed with.
Insecure lager.
Insecure lager louts.
Okay, this is good.
And that's what people think of us, and that's what I also think we're all like.
Okay, so then could tell me if this is
I'm not a lager lout.
Oh, well, okay, but you're a Brit.
Yeah, but I used to be a lager lout.
Okay, so reformed.
Not
lager
deformed.
lout.
Reformed.
Okay, so but then if this is a past version of yourself, then maybe there's a modern version of Brits that is different to this lager lout.
So, well, I suppose it's like every culture. We've all got our different. We're quite opinionated, aren't we? Don't you think we're quite opinionated?
Okay.
So, and we're quite judgmental. We are judgmental, which I don't, and I'm trying to work on that myself as a Brit.
Yeah.
That I don't like to be so judgmental, but we are.
Yeah.
But then I think that's just the rest of the world. I think all human beings are. So I have helped you here on this question about Brits? Not really. I've sort of gone worldwide.
Kind of loop back round. But what sets us aside? Is it just the beer drinking and the insecurity? Is that it?
We've just got that whole. I don't think our reputation's that great.
No.
No.
Okay.
I think we've got a little. Not to the rest of Europe. Say, I think we're the naughty bunch.
Right.
Yeah.
Our own little island.
Yeah, we're just naughty. So we've got a bit of a bad name for ourselves, but we're all right. We're doing all right.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. Let me know in the comments below what you think of your fellow country folk, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
I work with children. I think, the children are a credit, and equally, I think the older generation are a real credit
stoic,
to us.
aren't they?
Yeah.
You assume that they're stoic.
You think what they went through for everybody, and I think we're a little island, but we've got a big heart, haven't we?